Aziz Village is a nonprofit that provides opportunities for children in underserving communities from Massachusetts to Maine. Oh, man. Oh, man. So, okay. So the person who just wrote that, that's nice, but you have to look a little bit deeper. You have to look a little bit deeper. You have let me do a little investigation here. Let me just take a look here. So this is in Portland, Maine. Here it is. Let me find out the price of this place. Is it totally nonprofit or is it just for underprivileged kids? Let's see. Cost. Registration to attend. Our goal is to ensure that every child. I mean, she's the leader of it, and it's a nonprofit. So let's see. It's a nonprofit camp. You can't make this stuff up. The tuition rate is $1,600 per camper for 2-week session. Right there. So this, okay, now let me break down how nonprofits kind of operate. It's not really my field, but because I'm investigating another nonprofit, I can tell you a little bit of data that I've learned. So when you have a nonprofit organization, you can create a committee or a board. And when you create that committee or the board for the nonprofit organization, then the members of the board are paid a little bit of money. So now what that money is, look, if it's $500 a month or $5,000 a month, but the board members typically either, and it could be the opposite as well. The board members could be contributing in themselves. There are good people in the world. When you get these cliquish Northeast liberals who all collude power together, then I kind of start to go, I don't know if I believe in anything that they're saying. Biden was Obama's VP. Have you connected the dots yet? It's a Penn University. I misspoke that. Someone said Penn University. So let me explain how the nonprofit works. So just so you know, then what that is that when you have that kind of school like Aziz, that could be filled with privileged kids and then they put in some underprivileged kids. It could be filled with all underprivileged kids. To be honest, we really don't have enough data here. However, I know this, that a lot of nonprofits can be, I don't know enough information, so I don't want to assume anything because I want to be fair. You know, I don't want to be unfair. And if she's running a nonprofit organization for underprivileged kids, great. But sometimes nonprofits are not everything that they seem. So that's all I'm going to say about that because I don't want to be unfair. You know, if someone's doing something good in the world, I don't want to hack them when they could be doing something good just because I feel like I'm being treated unfair by that person. So I told you I was just fired up earlier. I was just going through some stuff because of my own personal strife with dealing with death, and I was in a mood. So, she's in the 2006 committee here, United States Courts of Massachusetts. Cool. What are these footnotes here? President Obama nominees 2 to serve on the United States Supreme Court, on the United States Federal Court. So then we're gonna get, now right here, what these are the Senate questions that she had to answer. So I just wanna see, and remember, a lot of this stuff is gonna be very vanilla when you're trying to get confirmed as a federal judge. And so that's one of the big things of delete laws. In 2023, I have some organizational structure coming in here, and I'm gonna do things a little bit more precise. But one of the pillars that we have that I've always talked about, thank you, I appreciate that. Let me turn the comments off so I can focus. So one of the things about delete laws, this channel, is we don't want federal judges appointed. We don't want Supreme Court personnel appointed. We want those people to be voted in because they're politicians anyway. And put a 1 in the chat if you think federal judges are politicians. Put a 1 in the chat if you think Supreme Court justices, which they never are, hardly ever, are politicians. Let me turn the chat on again so I can see it. Put a 1 in the chat if you think they're politicians, and let me prove my case here. Let me prove my case, because I don't want to just be a giant dunce cap. I want to show you the data, and then you make your own decision. So let me flip the camera around here. Okay, so we go back to, we just went down this. But, Horace Stern, he was a member of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, where she was a clerk when she went to $100,000 a year school, and the clerk for her would have been Norma. And Norma went to $100,000 a year school too, and she was appointed by Jimmy Carter, who's a hardcore liberal, and Horace here, he was also a hardcore liberal. And so then when you go here, when you go to Allison Burroughs, she's appointed by Barack Obama, who appoints a hardcore liberal. So they are already politicians. JNS is in the room. That's a good friend of mine, you guys. Oh, be careful, JNS. Now you're going to get a bunch of hate. I said you were my friend. I'm not painting with broad brushes, brother. I'm not painting with broad brushes. I'm a constitutional law scholar. I'm not a court procedure scholar, as we can all see, right? Go ahead, let it fly. Who doesn't know court procedure? Who's gotten their ass kicked in court this year? Who doesn't know court procedure? That doesn't mean that I'm not a constitutional law scholar, because I am. And so someone just chimed in here a second ago and said, you're painting with broad brushes here. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Not at all whatsoever. When you study the Supreme Court cases that I've studied, and you can get them on my deletelaws.com, you can get my poster, you can get my ebook. I sent off a bunch for free. Oh, by the way, if you guys donated to Press with Rancor and I didn't get you guys your free ebook or your free digital poster or your free trifold, the digital trifold, not the hard copy one, please make sure you contact me. There was 3 or 4 people that got through the cracks because my uncle died. I was thrown off, and I was an emotional mess because of I just was. So there's a few people I missed. They sent me emails that say, hey, I donated to Press with Rancor. So anyway, someone said earlier, you can see it. So the guy who said earlier that I'm painting with broad brushes here, you tell me. You tell me. Put a 1 in the chat if you think I'm right. Put a 2 in the chat if you think I'm wrong. Federal judges and Supreme Court judges are already politicians. Remember, this chick is winning Secret Service awards when she's a prosecutor. This chick right here, she's appointed by Barack Obama. Do you know Barack Obama? Does anybody here know Barack Obama? She's already a politician. She's a politician from the time she goes to Middlebury School. She's going to Middlebury School. She's already a politician. She's the class secretary, remember? And then you go back here to Norma. Norma's going to be appointed by Jimmy Carter. They're both Penn University alumni. The same thing with Horace. Horace is a Penn University alumni. University of Pennsylvania. Is it UPenn or Penn U? I just don't know. Can someone tell me? Because I'm a great big dunce cap. I have no idea. Okay? So are judges already politicians? Put a 1 in the chat if you think judges are already politicians. If you think that judges are politicians, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that they're quietly politicking behind the scenes, put a 1 in the chat. I just want to know how many people think that judges are quietly rubbing elbows with Jimmy Carter's and Barack Obama's, and they go to the most expensive college, they go to the most expensive law schools, and they're from an elite Northeast liberal yuppie organization. I'm sorry. It's on you. It's on Wikipedia. I felt like I was just now stuck in a box. And I was like, I can't get out of this. Like, you can look it up on Wikipedia. You can trace back the people who clerk for this person, who clerk for that person. You can do it yourself. You don't even got to be smart. You can just click the buttons in and look for yourself. Wikipedia is not right all the time, like they weren't about the 17th Amendment, but they're right about this. They're right about this. Thanks for the super chat, guys. I appreciate it. I only saw 1 or 2 come in. I do appreciate it, though. Thank you for the support. God bless you. God bless you guys. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Matt's got a good point. Matt, you got a good point there, brother. Matt's got a good point. Now, Wikipedia is a pretty good source. Do you think that they're lying that they went to Pennsylvania University? Who thinks that Wikipedia is wrong? Put a 2 in the chat. If you think Wikipedia is right about where these people went to college, put a number 1 in the chat. If you think Wikipedia is right, Put a 1 in the chat about where these people went to college. Go, what's going on, LA Spike? I'm a subscriber. I've been over by your channel now. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Oh, Mary, did you cross the line? Did Mary cross the line? I would like to read that. Oh, so the people don't like Wikipedia. Huh? About half the people do, half people don't. Ethric, how you doing, buddy? I'm reading the comments. How many people? Put a 1 in the chat if you think Wikipedia is right about where they went to college. That's all I'm asking. If Wikipedia is right about where those 3 different folks went to college, put a 1 in the chat. Right, but they're not wrong about where they went to college. They're not wrong that they're all alumni of the same school. I'm down with that. I'm down with that. So, I'm just saying. Oh, yeah. Hey, by the way, you know, that could be true. But you know what? Hold on a minute. Someone just said that. So, H. Whitaker just said Anthony Scalia was murdered. On my ranking of... So just so you guys know, I've read a ton of Scalia's holdings, along with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't like either one of those judges. I've read their holdings. Scalia was inconsistent. So just so you guys know, I mean, I've gone over this a lot of times, but you know, it's, you have the 19, it's going to be so you're going to have the 85 case, the 19, it goes, in the 1995 case of Gonzalez versus Reich, R-A-I-C-H, this is the case that's going to be the legalization case for marijuana, where we can grow marijuana at our own homes. And that's the 1995 case of United States of Gonzalez versus Reich, R-A-I-C-H. And that's going to be the Attorney General. Are my years off? I just want to make sure I'm correct on this. What year is Gonzalez versus Reich? What year is Gonzalez versus Reich? Is it 1995? 2005. 1995. So it's going to be 2005. Is it, God bless America. What year was Gonzalez versus Reich? I believe it's the 2005 case of Gonzalez versus Reich. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. I just want to be double sure. I just don't want to be wrong. Because if I'm wrong... Okay. Okay, good. So it was the 2005 case of Gonzalez versus Reich. And what that did is that made it so that marijuana would remain criminalized, a Schedule I drug on the Drug Enforcement Agency. We're living in such a tyrannical police state. It's crazy. So I get lost because the reason why marijuana was put as a Schedule I drug is because of Harry Anslinger and the 1937 Marijuana Tax Act. But in the 2005 case, I was talking about Scalia, he voted in collusion with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and they voted together for make a 6-3 vote in Gonzalez versus Reich that made growing marijuana illegal. And had Scalia not done that, then there would be millions of people who wouldn't have been charged with either marijuana, paraphernalia, trafficking, all these different things. So as far as I'm concerned, I hope Scalia is burning in hell. I don't forgive him. I'm human. I don't have the ability to forgive him for locking up millions of people. I hope Ruth Bader Ginsburg's right next to him and the devil's got a pitchfork in their face, because I can't stand either one of them. If they had voted the other way in Gonzalez versus Reich, millions of people from 2005 till now would not have been locked up. So every single person who's been arrested for a pipe or a joint, every single person who's been arrested for this since 2005, you can thank Anthony Scalia, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, now we found out she was a racist, and Anthony Scalia, we now found out was a hypocrite. So, you know, remember, when you get to the tops of these D's and R's and the tops of these conservatives and liberals, they're the same. They're the same. They work together. Remember, it took Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Anthony Scalia. Do people know that Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Anthony Scalia were supposed to be diametrically opposed? Put a 1 in the chat if you knew that Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Anthony Scalia, who were on the court at the same time, if they were supposed to be diametrically opposed. Put a 1 in the chat if you knew that. Just put it in there. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. I mean, are you not learning anything? I mean, are you not having a healthy discussion? Hit the like button. Like, you know, I'm sorry I was so fired up. I'm not sorry. But earlier I was so fired up, so I kind of, you know, I wanted to calm down a little bit and come back on and talk about the injustice I feel like I'm getting in the Massachusetts court.